Hundreds gathered to hear from Republicans Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz at their first America First tour on Friday. This was essentially a Trump rally without Trump as the Republican Party grapples with leadership fractures. CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan spoke with attendees to get a sense of whether they too believe the election was stolen. Listen.
You guys both genuinely believe the election was stolen.
Yes.
I mean, that's, if you believe that that's true, that is...
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
that
it
is
is.
horrible.
Is it horrible that we would even be in the situation to even think that?
But it's false.
No, it is not. Why would they have all those ballots hidden under tables? Why did that man drive that truck all the way across state lines
But it wasn't like
with
even
ballots?
the ballots under table thing with Giuliani and Georgia. That's all been proven to be false.
It
no?
has not. I watched it on TV.
It is false. Joining me now, Jatar Tadeja. He's a former QAnon follower. Thank you so much for being with us. I watched it all on TV. What do those words tell you?
Honestly, I think the first reaction you can naturally have is that that's a pretty ludicrous justification, right? It's really cringy. But the thing is, that's the problem. She watched it on TV. She watched it on OAN. She watched it on Newsmax. Ironically, she didn't see much of it on Fox because they haven't gone full into the election was stolen narrative. This is exactly the point, that the Republican Party and the conservative mainstream political and media ecosystem is now downstream and filled with all these conspiracy theories and ideas that come straight from QAnon, and they don't even realize it.
Talk to me about what you mean by that, because I think this is really interesting. You're saying that Republican elected officials, and we were talking about Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's a former president as well, they're downstream from QAnon. What do you mean?
So what I mean is that let's take a look at Dominion voting, right? Before, that Donald Trump mentioned it and it got brought up, no one had ever heard of Dominion voting. I had heard of Dominion voting because that was mentioned on the QAnon 8kun research boards back in 2018. It was mentioned on and off every few months. And then just after the start of November, there was a massive flurry of activity. On the 12th of November, OAN, Chanel Rion, starts talking about Dominion voting and even quotes a report that does not exist by the Edison Institute in regards to their voting machines. The Edison Institute was straight from the QAnon research boards. A week later, Ron Watkins, who is the administrator of 8kun, has an interview with Chanel Rion where he talks about Dominion voting. Donald Trump sees that, retweets it, and then boom. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, there's no space.
There's so many things like that.
There's no space between the messages anymore of QAnon and some people within the Republican Party. That video we showed, Donnie's interview, you look at this through different eyes, right? You also noticed a physical shift while Donnie was speaking to that couple.
Yeah, so if you look at the video, they're pretty calm and cool and collected, especially the wife. But the second Donnie says that was false, immediately her behavior changes. She becomes agitated. She becomes aggressive. She talks louder, faster. There is a physical reaction she has in her. She's essentially being triggered. Then, when he brings it up again and he reiterates his point, both the husband and the wife say the exact same thing. And if you watch just before the second time, the husband can't even look at his wife as she's talking. The husband's calm, the wife gets even more aggressive and agitated. I've seen this. This is what happens if you talk to someone who is involved in these conspiracy theories, who believes in it, whether they've heard of QAnon or not, because a lot of them don't even know what QAnon is, and they espouse the same ideas. They get agitated, frustrated, and almost manic. And the same thing happened to me. The same thing happens to my dad. And I see so many stories every day about the same thing happening to other people. This is what concerns me, is this physical, emotional, behavioral change. It's like a flip of a switch.
I wish I knew a way to stop it at this point. I mean, I do know one way is to stop spreading, media outlets stop spreading the misinformation for sure. But I wish people made better choices too as they were watching this stuff. Jatartha Jaja, I really appreciate you being with us, helping us understand it through your eyes.
No worries. Have a good day, guys.
It's so amazing, John, to hear someone who has been through this and come out on the other side, but you also hear from him how difficult, really how wicked a problem this is to solve.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you're absolutely right. But you know what I struggle with is these people are making really bad decisions, and a lot of this is on them. And I know they're being brainwashed, and it's one of these brainwash syndromes. I mean, people can be tricked into a lot of different things, but at a certain level, there is some personal responsibility here. If people just have to be smarter than this. They have to be better than this, than buying half the crap that they're buying into.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people spreading it.